Hi, my name is Jiayao Wang. Today I'm going to demonstrate my research paper, Plan-Driven and Agile Approach, which one is better. So there's many forms of development methodologies that have been created to develop a higher quality software to solve an existing problem. The central column of development method is separated into plan-driven methodology and agile methodology. And I'm going to compare those two based on the case study. We're going to focus on the effectiveness, the weakness, and the strength of those two methodologies. The case study is about to provide professional advice for development of a new and a creative online banking system. And this banking system will be operated internationally. The two key points to take away from this is first, new and creative. There's so many exist online banking system in the world, so new and creative must be taken care of it. So we're going to focus that in the research paper. The second one is the paper will be, the second one is the product will be operate internationally, which involve different countries that including different country currency, the exchange rate. So we're going to say how those two gonna perform in those two methods. So the first methodology is agile methodology. Agile methodology represents a fast process of removing steps and feedback alert. The concept of this development method is different from the existing process model. It aims to continuously collaborate, working in a loop throughout the entire process, and to continuously improving upon the negotiation with stakeholders. That means that it involved many meetings with stakeholders to ask them provide feedback based on the current small pieces problem. Because Agile will do is it break down the complexity problem into small pieces, and the team will work on the small pieces first. After it complete, it will involve stakeholder to take in place and ask them to provide feedback. It will loop until the whole process is satisfied with stakeholders, because it can produce a quality of software in a short period. So it's really less cost and less time consumed, and it's really perform better with a small project. The main framework of agile methodology is called Scrum. So Scrum is provide flexibility and adaptability to the project. Scrum represent the opposite of linear approach. So is more free, is more flexible when it comes to and it deal really good when it comes to a complexity problem. So Sprint has a really good feature called Sprint. So what this do is when we break down the complexity problem into a small piece problem, the product owner will put that small piece problem into an order called Sprint, and then the whole team will focus on that sprint. So there's three positions in the Scrum team. One is product owner, which is owner of the product, the leader of the product, where he order all the sprint into the list and lead the team to work on it. The second one is developer, which is the people who has higher coding skill to put the code, to put the algorithm into the actual physics system. The third one is the most important one. It's called Scrum Master. What he does is it monitor and train the individuals in the team to help them to perform better, and it monitor each performance and help them increase the chance of producing higher quality software. Also, it will provide necessary material, training material to stakeholder to help them to better understand the process. The next one is plan-driven methodology, where it's a linear approach, so it must be followed by 5 important stages, which I will explain later. So each stage will create a document that will be passed on to the next stage to be worked on. The main feature of this methodology is it has a prototype, which Agile do not have it. Prototype is the prototype of the actual design, which will involve stakeholder to taking place, and that's the only time where it involves stakeholders. So it will ask them to provide feedback, and it will showcase all the functionality in the prototype to make sure the prototype is satisfied with customer's requirement. If not, that means we have to go back to the first stage. Plan-driven is really good for a large project. So waterfall method. This is the dominating framework in the methodology, plan-driven methodology. The 5 important stages are requirement stage, design stage, implementation stage, and testing, and the last one, maintenance. The first one will be easy to understand, but is the most important stage where there will be a team of analysis specialists will analyze the requirements from stakeholder and document them into a documentation and pass that to the design stage. The design team will base on the document that passed on from the previous stage and then is establish the design and then document it into a design document, then pass to implementation. So implementation will base on those 2 documents to conduct the physical function of the system, to create a prototype first, and then involve testing. Testing is where the prototype come out. That time where team will showcase the prototype to the stakeholder to make sure all the functions are there, all the functions are meets the requirements. After that, it will be maintaining stage. That stage will just to be the team has to respond to solve any problem that might occur, or if stakeholder wants to update or want to improve them on the stage, it will then start from the very beginning and do the exactly same thing. So I also conduct some research conclusion. The waterfall method, first one is the waterfall method is not suitable for a project that has unclear requirement and the potential change possibility. This one is really clear because waterfall method need a requirement to be need a clear requirement to be established a clear quality project, and if there any change that might happen, that means you have to go back to the first stage, which extend the time. That's why the waterfall is really not suitable for a project that has unclear requirement. Second one is Scrum is difficult to introduce into company culture. For a company, for organization, company always have their own culture, have their own atmosphere, but Scrum is a very new methodology which need a specialist called Scrum Master to be taking place to train those people, which might increase their working time. And because it's a new culture, it might change the company atmosphere. So it's quite difficult to fit into the company culture. The last one is small projects are always suitable for Agile, never for waterfall. Like the previous explanation, Agile is about to produce the software in a short period. That means that it must be a small project because for a large project, Agile could not produce that in a short period, but waterfall can. So my conclusion of this research report is the waterfall method will be the best way to create a new and innovative design, because the 2 key points we take away from the case study is first new and the creation and the creative. So waterfall has a stage called requirement. That stage will be a team member will analyze all the requirement, including new and the creative requirement. So the team will research all the existing assistant and gather them into a requirement document. That will be including the advantage and disadvantage of what was missing on their softwares, and then pass that to a design phase. Then design will conduct the algorithm, then pass to implementation. That way, I think waterfall method is really meet the criteria of new and the creative. The second one is cross-country currency. That will also be included in the waterfall method, where all the requirement, including the data type, for example, transfer transfer pounds to American dollar. That will be a different data transfer. That will also be included in the requirement document that waterfall can successfully produce that into the system, which is really good. But for Scrum, that is really hard because Scrum requires daily meetings, which for a bank, that is a financial industry, which they don't have that much time to plan meeting or giving feedbacks because they are not professional, so they couldn't remember every detail. So that in that case, waterfall only have one meeting that will be the prototype, where the product leader showcase the prototype to the stakeholders, and they will fully observe the actual prototype, actual product, to see if that meets the requirement. In that way, I think waterfall method will be the best way to create a new and creative design.